Northrop P-61 Black Widow was credited with shooting down the last Japanese aircraft of World War II. Join me while I build this model of the Airfix vintage classic in 1/72nd scale. Welcome to this build of the Airfix P-61 Black Widow, I think it's called. Before we get started, well, I've started it. There is lots of flash, lots of ejector pin marks. Some parts don't make sense. Right, so I've started the cockpit. There were two ejector pin marks in there that needed getting rid of, and one in there. Same on this side. I've glued it all together because I'm going to paint it. I want to see how well it goes together, and it goes together pretty well. There's a bit of sand in there. See, I don't want to, it's got sink marks there, and I don't want to be sanding it, to be honest, because I'll lose all the raised detail. I don't want to do that, but some parts are going to have to be sanded, whether I like it or not. Started the gun off. How that's supposed to elevate, I don't know, but it's not, because it's not going to anyway. And I've done a wing. The fit is pretty good, really. And just give it a light sand in there at the edge. That bit there needs clamping, I think. A bit more glue. It's going to need some filler, and like I said, so I might use Vallejo acrylic filler, so because you can wipe it off quite easily. I put this landing light in, and that can't be right, can it? It's sticking out a fair way. I'm going to cut that off. I'm not sure about that. Is it like an air brake or something? Anyway, so I'm going to get on with it. Okay, if you're planning on building this kit, make sure you are prepared to do lots of sanding, some filling, scraping. I'm going to show you an example. These are the wheel bay doors, and every one of them's got a raised ejector pin mark, and to make it look decent you've got to sand it off. Yeah, nearly every part is like that. It's got a raised ejector pin mark. The fuselage, which is I've painted up in US interior green, they all have two here, one there. Inside the wings, you got to make sure that they will close together properly, because I've started doing the wings, and although it's a pretty decent fit, there are gaps that need filling, and I don't want to get rid of all this rivet detail, you know, because this is a traditional Airfix kit from the 60s. I put the undercarriage in because I don't think I'd be able to get it in if I didn't. This is going to be painted up interior green along with the doors. I'll do that after I've sprayed it rubber black, I think. I'm going to go paint it with some anthracite highlights. Anyway, so that's the starboard wing and the port wing there. See that again, the same, it needs filler. that needed filler all around there. And these are a bit strange, these bits here, because they come up through the, where they dive brakes or something, I don't know. You've got to get them to come up, you know, you squash the wing down, but that ain't going to happen, is it? Anyway, so I painted up the crew figures to how I wanted them. Cockpit, the instrument panel, decal, I put that in. The top turret, I've glued that in, and it still turns, which I'm quite surprised at, but it didn't when I was a kid when I made this. The fit of the fuselage halves is pretty good. So I'm going to glue them up, and once I've done that, I shall mask up the canopy, or the canopies. Also, when I put this together, I've like loosely put it together. It's a definite tail sitter, so there'll be plenty of lead going in the nose cone there. I've glued up and sanded up the bombs, but I don't think I'll be putting them on. And I've glued up and sanded and shaped the fuel tanks, the drop tanks. Oh, and I've cleaned up the props as well, because they definitely need a good clean up after you've took them off. So once I've got, and here you can see the engines that I'll start shortly. I think I'll paint these, I'll just tack these onto the fuselage, when I paint it black, take them off and then put the engines in. But I'll paint the engines aluminium colour and then give them a black wash. It doesn't look like there's much detail. These will want grey, I can't remember what colour these are. The reduction gear housings. About a chat over that. It's moving on. Oh yes, and when you glue the wings together, you get a raised lip here. To get it to get a decent fit on the wing edge, you need to get rid of that raised lip, I'm telling you. And then you get that there, and you get a nice fit then. Okay, so I will endeavour to show you more once I've glued all this together and masked up the canopy parts. Alright, see you shortly. Okay, so I've painted everything's had a coat of Vallejo surface primer black. And the Black Widow is now black. It's where I've filled in all the joints up here. They've gone up. They're not too bad. Lost detail obviously where I sanded, and you know, what can you do? I filled the nose up with lead, but it's still a tail sitter, so I'm going to put a strip of lead in there before I put the I'm going to put the strip of lead in there, try and get it to go down. I'm going to paint. I'm not going to paint the lower surfaces, anything else, but I'm going to paint the upper surfaces with Revell's anthracite grey. You know, just like give it like a worn appearance. You know what I mean? All the other parts that everything's painted up black. The fuel tanks, they'll get aluminium. The bombs will be done in olive drab, but they're not going on the aircraft. All the inside of the undercarriage doors, they're all going to get interior green. Inside here there'll be interior green as well, but you know, you're not going to see it. So the wheels get painted anthracite as well, and I'm going to dry brush the engines with that aluminium, I think, even though there's not much detail on them. And I'll do the reduction housing in some light brown colour, I think, and don't know what they are, but I'll do that. Are they magnetos? I don't know what they are, and I'll do them in something else. So I get set up now to spray some anthracite onto the aircraft. The Black Widows are now had a gloss coat. Some of this Revell clear gloss. I actually quite like this. I'm going to stop using the Future Floor polish because it's either gone off or there's something wrong with it. One coat and it's very glossy. So that's the extra piece of lead, and it's not a tail sitter anymore. It was until I put the engines on, but anyway. Oh no, they were spinning. Looks like the gloss coat is sitting. There we go. That one's still a bit stiff. Anyway, the gun turret doesn't move though, that's stuck. I think the paint did that, but never mind. It's not like I'm going to play with it. So, it's time to do some decaling or putting transfers on. You've seen me, if you've watched my other videos, you've seen me do this before. So I'll just get on with it. If I have any problems, I'll let you know. But they're cartographed, so I very much doubt it. Okay. So every part is painted. The fuel tanks are aluminium. Bombs are olive drab, but I don't think they're putting bombs on. And so I'll get the decals on, put all the other stuff on, or the interior green what's painting on the undercarriage, but I'll do that when I've done the decal and the transfers, and then we'll get it matte coated. Okay, it's actually sitting on all its wheels now. Right, so the front is so heavy. All the decals are on, as you can see. Or maybe not see. Typical cartograph decals. Went on perfectly. Props at the front. So I've sanded down the wheels so they have a flat spot, and fuel tanks are on. I've just got a few bits and pieces to put on now, the radar aerials and the aerials under the fuselage, pitot, and I think these are the guns. They're supposed to be the guns that go underneath. So get them on, and then we'll give it a matte coat and take the masking off. Okay, so here you can see the completed model of the P-61 Black Widow from Airfix. What I've done is I've put on the fuel tanks after and painted up the bombs. It could have carried bombs as well, or probably both, some fuel tanks and some bombs. But that's how I wanted to do it. That's like in Roy Cross's artwork. So, what do I think of this kit? Well, it's an old, you know, it's an old vintage classic. It says vintage classic. I wouldn't say it's a classic. It's a vintage. It's got lots of flash and badly fitting, to be fair. In some parts really good. Would I build this again? I don't think so. Do Airfix need to retool, you know, do a new tool of this? Yes, if they did, I would certainly buy it, because, you know, it's a mean looking aircraft, isn't it? So, so I've modelled the aeroplane. I'll just set off the turntable. So I've modelled the aeroplane. It has flown by the 548th Night Fighter Squadron, the United States Army Air Force, at Shima Island, Okinawa, Japan, 1945. I put on the registration number for the actual aircraft because if you read the instructions, Roy Cross's artwork depicts the other serial number, which they thought at the time was correct, but it's not. But so it's now got my model's got the correct serial number on it. What more can I say about it? I'll give you a little bit of the potted history. It was one of the most distinct aircraft of World War II. The Black Widow was the first US aircraft that was specifically designed for combat at night, and it had radar as its primary method as target detection. It had it had strong firepower. It had 420mm cannon under the fuselage, and in the turret on top of the fuselage there are 4 Browning 5.0 machine guns. This airplane that I've modelled is credited with shooting down the last Japanese airplane of World War II, so it shot down the last aircraft of World War II altogether. So that's about it really. When I built it, the turret did actually turn, but the paint's made that stuck solid, unfortunately. But you know, it's not a toy. I'm not going to be playing with it. One of the propellers spins freely, but the other one, it does spin. Oh yeah, that's something. It does spin, but not. I'd have to stop and hold the plane and move it. Unless you put a lot of lead in the nose, and I mean I put a lot, and I filled the nose up with lead and white glue to keep it stable. It's a tail sitter, and it was still a tail sitter with that. If I touch it, it's a tail sitting. It's finely balanced. There's a big piece of, where the front wheel is. There's a big piece of lead in behind the front wheel undercarriage leg, which eventually got it to where it was on all three landing wheels. So something to note: if you're going to build this kit, you will need a lot of lead in the front of the aircraft. it doesn't tell you in the instructions how much to put in there. There's not much in the instructions anyway. There's no interior colours or anything like that. I just painted it in US interior green and painted up out the pallets how I wanted them. And as I like to do, they've all got red gloves. I like to paint my aircrew with red gloves. Don't know why, just do it. Anyway, so that's that. The decals on the kit were absolutely fantastic, but you wouldn't expect anything else from Cointograph. Alright, so if you've got this far, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you like the kit I've built. So if you do, please give us a thumbs up, a like, and if you don't mind, please subscribe, because there's plenty more models coming, and the next one will be a Phantom, I think. Yeah, we'll end this video now. Thanking you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.